guys, Kris here. I am going to show you how to use a blending board from Ashford. This is our blending board, like what we talked about in the video. One thing that we didn't say, which cameraman Bob so graciously pointed out to us, is right here, there are two other holes on the back of your blending board. All that does is going to raise and lower your angle so that how this blending board sits in front of you, I like it up a little higher. You can lower it or raise it. So that's that. So we have our blending board, we have our blending brush, and then we have the two dowels that come with it. These come in at the end. So I'm going to set these aside for now before I start drumming and driving everybody crazy. Jeannine's nodding her head because she knows.
Because she's been doing it before we started.
Sorry,
Stop.
had to do it once. You know me. Okay, so the biggest thing I'm going to tell you first about blending fibers, be it on a drum coater or a blending board, you have to have a foundation. So we all like to add frou-frou bits and bobbles. Some people don't. I know there's a few. To our bats. This is the thing. So I have like solid roving. This is Falkland. This is like a bamboo merino blend. And this is just straight merino. Yes, covered in other fibers that it's been sticking in with. But these are like what I would start with, because it's going to help me make a solid foundation on my blending board. This is an old bat that, I don't know, I liked it and I wasn't sure, and I don't know. It just, there was something about it that was off. So I'm actually going to use bits and pieces of an old bat to add to it. This, does anybody know what this is?
Sari silk?
I love sari silk.
Yeah.
Love sari silk. So you can see how this fiber, kind of how loose and stringy this is. If you were to put this into your foundation, it would fall apart. I'm going to show you, you can see how part of this is bundled. That is because my daughter, in her helpful ways, was trying to help me make bats for a show one year, and she did an entire bat. This is it right here. Out of sari silk. And I go, wow, that's lovely, but
You can't spin that.
Not only can you not spin it, that's a really expensive bat. But then I have some locks and I have some Angelina that I'm going to add to it. And with Angelina, a very little bit goes a very long way.
Yep.
You just need a little glitz and glam. We are not, I don't know. We're not going for solid shiny.
No, it should be a highlight.
Yes.
It's a little sparkle in there.
Yes.
Because a lot of that can get scratchy too, so you need to make sure.
It can. So those are the fibers that I'm going to be working with. So the first thing I'll do is I'll show you how to build a foundation. Jeannine's going to bring the camera over and we will start with our foundation. And Jeannine is more than welcome to talk while I do this part, because I don't know if I can talk and work at the same time, but
it'd be a first. Keep going.
Can you see my eyeball looking up at you?
I did. All right. So basically, we refer to this as a painting technique, where you're just putting stuff onto the board, right?
Yep. This is painting. And again, right now, I'm just building a foundation. Because if I don't have a little bit of a foundation, I have no way of adding anything else to it.
Right. Now, you could actually use a undyed roving as well.
Oh, for your base? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then add color to it.
Yep.
It's really pretty. And you can see I'm using my brush and I'm coming in at the top. I don't ever really go in the middle and come down, because then it doesn't have the same thickness. So I always go through the top and work down. And you definitely want to have these little fibers that trail, because these come into play at the end of our little thing. Ugh.
You can also, this is a perfect time if you want to put some striping of colors in as well. You can, so she's building on the same color. And
yep, because I'm going to stripe it.
She's going to stripe it.
I want to stripe my thing.
Yep. Yep. So she's
And
just adding some more.
Like a 3 colorway stripe, and then I'll add color to it.
Perfect.
So I like to build that first base until I don't see
The cloth.
any of the cloth behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you see cloth, then you don't have a foundation.
Right. And so that blending board, again, it's a packing brush. It just makes it so that it pushes everybody down so you can add more and maximize the amount that you can put into your Rolags.
Yep.
Purple.
If I can find the beginning of it. Good Lord.
So your purple looks purple, but that teal looks blue.
Oh, that's all right.
On the phone.
Well, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is.
It also gives you an opportunity to pick up and place stuff. Yep. If you don't like where it's at, move it.
And that's what I did. So I just felt like I had a big clump at that top. So I like to make sure I get as close to my sides as possible, because if I'm using this, I am making sure I'm utilizing my full space.
Right, right. And why not? Why wouldn't you?
And if you get a big clump, just pick it up and move it along.
So the other thing that you're doing as you're moving that down those the tines is you're actually drafting it. So you're removing big bunches and clumps and things as well. So this is that process.
And you can see, ooh, get out of there. I'm not ready for green yet.
Yep.
See how I went over this section with my brush? Mm-hmm. That's flattened out and gone down. This is still poofy. All right. So that's what your brush does. Your brush releases the air from it so that we get more compact. And if Jeannine comes in close, you'll see the areas where you can still see my cloth through. So the goal is to come in and cover that cloth. Okay. So I'm going to work that. And for the sake of the video, guys, I will tell you I am probably not going to fill this all the way to the top, because we'll be here for, like, it'll be a 45-minute video, because I am not very fast at this.
Well,
and I also like to play with color, so
this gives you that opportunity to be very creative and intentional with what you're sticking in your bat or Rolags.
Yeah,
Rolags are just small bats.
Yes, and basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a foundation. I'm going to add some fun to it, and then I'm going to top with a second foundation and maybe a few bits. I'm not going to go like all the way to the very top of the tines like I would normally, because usually I jam pack these tines as much as I possibly can, because like I said, if I'm going through this Herculean effort to make something, I'm using all the space they give me.
Now, do you have a drum carder at home?
Sure, yeah, I do. That big one.
Okay, so this is what she uses to do bats that are sold in the store and at her fiber shows.
Yeah.
Is the drum carder, because she can get more on there. Yeah. You can get 3 ounces of fiber. Yeah. I almost said pounds. It's ounces.
Yeah, people. And I can usually, there are times, depending on the fiber I'm using, sometimes my drum carder, I can get a good 4 to 4.5 ounces on a bat sometimes. And I'll be honest, so my bats are not all the same price, because sometimes I'm making a bat and I run out of the colors that I'm using in a bat, and you might see a 4.2 ounce bat, and then you might see a 2.9 ounce bat, both of them the same colors, but I didn't have enough to make 2 4-ounce bats. It just makes it so that I can utilize my all of my fiber. And also some people want a full 8 ounces of bats so they can make a larger project. Some people are like, no, I just need to make a little. So a 2.5 ounce bat or a 3 ounce bat is not a big deal.
Plus, the cost of bats also depends on the fibers that are going in as well. Yep. If you're putting mohair and locks in, it's going to cost more.
Absolutely. I see a tiny little bit of stuff over here, so I'm just going to cover, but you can see, so I striped it, okay? Sometimes you get a very thick area in your roving that you're putting on, and it's like, takes Herculean effort to drag it over. So we have a nice little base to play with now. So now I can choose, like, what do I really want to add to this? Well, I know I want to add some sari silk, so I'm going to grab a little bit of my sari silk. I'm going to break it apart because you really, really don't want this clumpy. It's going to clump to a certain extent, but you can see I'm like just painting. That's all I'm doing. I'm just painting color work in.
And wherever the teeth grab, that's kind of how we just let it go.
Ah!
And you only need a little. You
can see I'm not putting it over here because it's kind of going to get lost over there. So what's the point?
Yeah, same color.
You know, I don't need that sari silk over there. So then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to brush that down. Then I'm going to get some of my locks.
Bob's liking what you're doing. He's over there bobbing his head.
All right, so I got my clumps of locks, right? So you want to be careful when you're putting locks in because they're gonna break apart, and it does break my heart a little bit. But locks are going to be long pieces that end up in here, and depending on how you put it in, you can see this is more like a cloud. Well, if I do this and bring it down, I can leave a little bit of lock in there. So it's just when you go to brush this, like, you got to make sure that you're going to only brush down.
Let me get in here so they can see the locks. There you go.
And I'm leaving those alone. Like, I'm only going to brush to the lock, and I'm lifting my brush up because I want to keep a little lock in there, you know, just a little. And I'm going to do it through the whole section. And again, it's not something you have to do. Locks aren't for everyone. I just happen to I love locks. And it just adds a little bit of color.
I struggle with. So I'm one of those people that she doesn't like because I'll take and comb them out and use them for something else.
Be still my heart. Yeah. For those of you that like know me well, you know I love to lock spin. I love to put locks in my core work. I am all about the locks. All right. So now I picked up a little bit of the old bat. Sounds like I'm talking about a little old lady.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to bring this in.
You got him shaking his head now.
Well, hey.
This could be so cool because now you've got that neon.
Mm-hmm. I just wanted to add a little bit of fun.
Oh, that's cool.
And you can see I'm not overdoing the bits of color. I'm just giving enough for interest because I don't want to lose my foundation color. And some people will load it to where they have so many colors going on, and that's fine too. There's really no wrong way to make a bat. It's, do you like it when it's done?
Yep.
That's the most important part, because if you don't like what you did, then pull it apart, get it out of there, and turn it into something else.
Gift it to somebody else.
Gift it. Gift it. That's funny. You funny girl. All right. So see how we have that middle layer? Now I'm going to come back.
Watch your hand. So I want to show.
Yep.
Here's along the bottom edge. She still has everything left there, so that when we use the dowels, it's easier to grab the fiber.
Yep. And I'm just going to come in, and I'm coming over with a little more of whatever color is in that center. And I am going to overlap just a hair into my outside colors, because what I don't want is I don't want to create 3 individual pieces that don't coexist together. Right. You want them to bleed and blend into each other enough so everything catches and lives together in perfect harmony. Oh my God, I sound like a Hallmark commercial. Or a Folgers coffee commercial. I mean, you know. All right, so I got some more black, and I didn't have to cover everything. See, I'm going to come down like this over that black, and I still left some of my other stuff poking through. Ugh. Gotta be strong to rip some of this stuff apart. Good Lord.
Move your hands farther apart.
I know. I'm just impatient.
Have you met me?
I have.
All right. I want to rip where I want to rip. Forget them. Who cares about staple length? I'm bound and determined to get some color at that top. It's making me crazy. There we go.
You got more in your other hand.
I know. I'm trying to get my brush because I want to see if I want to add more or not. I'm going to do just a little bit like across there to go back over that black.
See, I was going to ask if you were going to layer those over the black too.
Yeah, because if I layer it a little over the black, then I've layered it this way, you know. It has multitude of layers. It's a good thing you're not videoing my face right now. My right eyeball has decided that allergy season has hit, and I am like, I look like I'm crying.
We've had a lot of rain lately.
I can't. All right, what's my last color? Purple?
Purple.
All right. Let's get this purple in here. Now, I will tell you, like, if you've never worked on a drum carder or a blending board, these little tines, like, you can hurt.
Yeah.
Like, they don't hurt for me to sit here and push on them, but when you're dragging stuff across it, you can see the marks.
Yeah.
You can catch your skin on the top knuckle, which I constantly do. So I try not to do like this. I try to do like this, because when I pull down this way, those little tines are ripping across my skin. So it's nicer for me, and it should be nicer for everybody if they just keep your fingers away from the tines. The drum carder is evil. That one you really got to watch what you're doing.
Ashford came out with their electric drum carder. But it has a lot of guards on it, so it helps keep your hands away from the stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if I want an electric one. I've been in debate on that.
It's pretty pricey. It's over $1,000.
I know. Guys, come buy a lot of bats for me, and maybe I can afford an electric drum carder.
There you go. You can make them faster.
I think I'm going to add a little tiny bit of sari silk over on this side just because I like it. And I like having that turquoisey teal color go all the way through my project. Whee! It's so much fun.
Yeah, then when you roll it up, it is actually going to be on the inside.
Yep. And then the very last thing.
It's on top.
Thank you.
There you go.
I'm going to come in here, and you can see. I am just dropping a little bit of Angelina on here. I'm trying to be very careful because I don't want to overload it, especially because this is not a very big bat. You know, this is just
a little sparkle.
Just a little sparkle.
Little goes a long way. It really does.
It does. And I could have layered this in between, so that sparkle can go anywhere. It doesn't have to go on the last layer. I just like it on the last layer because it becomes a part of my center. So when it becomes a part of my center, it comes out in all different places.
Yeah, just remember what you see on top is going to be in the middle of your Rolag or bat when you take it off.
Yes. All right. I almost blew through my lock. Stop it.
You just
all right.
pulled it up a little bit.
I did. So I am coming down right now just to really make sure that everything is down and in there.
So let me do this real quick here.
Yep.
So as you can see from the side, you've got layers. You can see the layers right here.
And you can see I didn't go all the way up to the top of my tines.
Right.
I could have put another 2 or 3 layers on top of here.
So, and this is what it looks like all the way across from this direction. Okay, dowel rod time.
Dowel rods. So what I do before I even get my dowel rods is I kind of come in here and I just lift this section just a little bit. And it doesn't matter that it's not even.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Okay, there's no hard, fast rule on that. Take my dowel rods, one underneath and one on top. And you squeeze them together and you pull down and you start to roll. And I use my thumbs at the base and I pull and I roll. Now, right here, you can tell I didn't go far enough down because it's not catching my fiber because my black was a little shorter. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to pull this black up and I'm going to start again. And I'm going to actually make sure I'm catching my black fiber this time. And I'm going to, oh my goodness, there we go.
There you go.
All right, so I have it caught and I'm going to pull down and I'm going to lift. And I'm going to roll.
Right. So basically she's drafting it a little bit as she's going onto the dowel. There you go. And she's lifting. And she'll probably get all these on one because there's not a whole lot of fiber. But
some people have to break it into 2 or 3.
Yeah, I've seen.
Ow! And the tine will go in your thumb if you're not careful.
He's laughing at you.
I know. Leave it to Kris. And you can see, like, if I had a heavier bat on there, a heavier amount, like pulling down on that to, like, you got to brace your thumbs. You have to brace. It's the only way you're going to get that fiber to lift off of there. I got to pull it on my lap, guys. Sorry.
You're fine.
There we go. I'm going to laugh when this is so tight I can't get those out. I've done that before, too.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing is, when we're done, these dowel rods have to be able to come out of the center. And sometimes we don't know our own strength and how tight we pull. Now, see this piece that's left here?
Mm-hmm.
This left behind piece? You can do one of 2 things. You can try to get in there and lift it. But if it's so far down, like I can catch it like this. I don't have a little pick.
I know.
Hold on. Ah, there we go. I think my fingernails might do it.
There you go.
So I kind of pick it up and I'll unroll a little bit.
And I just need to keep a double point.
Yeah, double point needles.
A metal
very helpful. But yeah, if you get pieces that just strip down on you, just use your double point, pick them up, and roll them back up into your Rolog.
No fiber left behind.
No fiber left behind. And you can see I got to the end and it kind of popped off my board. So I just kind of pull a little bit on this last end. And I wrap it around. All right. Now the fun trick that I hate, which is why I use my drum carder.
Mm-hmm.
Because getting these little bad boys to come out of here.
You got to pull one.
I know. But so what I do is I take one hand here and one hand here and I kind of rock a little first to try to loosen that center up. And then I hold and pray. Which one wants to give first? Oh my goodness.
There we go.
Oh, it's a chore every time. All right. So in the world of Rolags, we have a Rolog. Now you have to remember, I didn't put any fun and fancy stuff on the outside. Okay. So the Rolog doesn't look like it's going to be much. Okay. However, when I start to spin this, when you're spinning from the Rolags, you spin from an end. And I'm going to do this because I don't care. And I'm just going to use the fiber anyway. But when I start to spin and draft, like as I come out, all of those little nifty bits that got put into there, depending on how I'm drafting, you can see they're all going to come out eventually.
Yep. And you can see all those different fibers that were in between the layers are coming out.
You can see some Angelina through there.
Yep, it's all in there.
And it's just coming out, little bits and bobbles.
Yep.
And as you go, like depending on how thick or how thin you're spinning, like see, you've got a lot, like that's a large little bit of sari silk. That's going to make a great little color.
And if you were core spinning, this would be perfect.
This would be amazing for core spinning.
Yep.
But it's just a very simple way to make something different than what you see in roving.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can be creative. I like doing bats and Rolags out of all my leftover bits and bobbles because everybody who spins has, oh, I have this little chunk of black. I have this little chunk of blue. I have a bag of Angelina that somebody gave me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice to put all those things together. I will tell you, if you go over onto Ashford's YouTube channel or even onto their blog, you will see some blending board things from them.
Mm-hmm.
And they talk about striping and they talk about different techniques with the blending board. So do hit them up for more information as well. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your Christmas day.
And we hope that you enjoyed this. And don't forget, like and share.
Like and share. Find us on the Blue Fiber Tree on Instagram, the Blue Fiber Tree on Facebook,
longtailknits.com, alk&me.com, Longtail Knits on Facebook, and
alk&me on Facebook.
alk&me on Facebook and alk&me on Instagram. There are so many places to find us, guys. You can't miss us.
You cannot. And plus
Okay.
our personal pages, we share and like everything.
Yes, and if I can get it together, you'll have a nice little treat over New Year's Eve, New Year's Day weekend. We have some bloopers from the last 12 months of
Yeah.
filming to share with you, and most of them are Kris laughing and throwing her head down, or laughing and hiding behind the desk, or making faces at Bob.
Getting up and walking away. So yes,
Yes.
we had a lot of fun. And
Yes.
it's been a year.
It's been a year. Go
Wow.
to.
Yay.
Thank you so much for supporting us during this last year. It's been a ton of fun. We will continue to do how-tos and coffees and chats, and maybe throw some extra stuff in here and there. All right? You guys take care. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Bye.
Bye.